Hi everybody, my name's Shark and welcome to Let's Draw. This episode we're going to draw whom I consider the best villain in Spider-Man, Venom. Yes, the alien costume Venom. Alright, I consider him the best villain ever. Blah. But this Venom is going to be the earlier 90s version of Venom, not this new kind of bullshit that we got going on today. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright. Start out fairly basic. This is going to be just like any other kind of sketch. Very rough, very quick. I think I tried spending a bit more time on it. It's a bit easier to do because there's not so much to worry about because he's basically a evil freaking Spider-Man, more or less, except for, of course, the difference being the mouth with the jaw and the deformed freaking eye things, which is always a different shape more times than not. It's never really the same shape. So yeah, starting out fairly basic, the same deal with most of them, except for, of course, the mouth is a bit different. We're going to start getting into his teeth here. You need to make those things sharp and nasty looking, because that's one of the biggest features of Venom is his mouth. I mean, you look at Venom, the first thing that sticks out is his mouth and his freaking long tongue, which will be showing here. I try to put a little bit more detail into the actual jaw, because, I mean, it's not just a costume, it's an actual living creature that is, over somebody. You know the story. But yeah, there's the tongue. There's that nasty son of a bitch. Alright, getting in there. Okay, and another thing about Venom, of course, is he's totally freaking yoked out. I mean, he's a ripped out Spider-Man in a black costume. But yeah, I tried to emphasize that on that as much as I could. But yeah, I definitely need to work on my muscles. It's been a while since I've really drawn overly buff characters, but yeah. So, all in all, I'm kind of happy with the way this one turned out. I mean, it's still messy, and it's still, I still could do better. I was still trying to be fairly fast, but at the same time, I was also trying to take my time a little bit more, mainly because it's been a long time since I've drawn anything like this. Yeah, the initial sketch, I put a lot of work into that, as you saw. Now I just kind of faded the layer, just kind of going into the detail. Trying to put a little bit more detail to the cheekbone and make it look more like an actual creature than it does, just like a mask with a jaw on it. But yeah, try to, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, trying to actually pull the lips up so I can actually put a little bit of work into the actual teeth, so I can show some gums, because I mean, it looks a lot nastier if you actually get some gums in there and get all the teeth. It's just, I think it looks better all around. Again, but like most of the other drawings, it's been a while since I've drawn anything like this. I used to draw stuff like this all the time in high school, creep people out. One of the things that a good friend of mine likes so much is this one wicked clown I drew with like this spiky mohawk. He had teeth like this. He was like, "Hey, little boy, you want some candy?" It was one of his favorite pictures. But yeah, anywho, yeah, with the tongue, I tried to do because especially with dogs, you notice that how when their tongue's hanging out, it will fold up because it'll rest on the teeth, and you'll get like this kind of folded. I don't think it turned out too well here, but that's exactly what I tried to do. Yeah. Of course, we're getting back into the eyes again, which kind of have more of a Spawn kind of look in this picture. But again, his eyes are never really the same shape. I'm willing to bet that whenever people draw Venom, they probably think that his eyes kind of shift around like Rorschach's mask. That's what I think. I do not know what happened there. I think I probably accidentally minimized the window or something, because I notice that happens. But yeah, anywho. Yeah. Kind of working things around, just basically retracing the initial sketch that I did with putting a little bit more attention to detail, getting into the shoulders, getting into the deltoids, getting into the pecs, bit of bicep there. I could have spent more time on that and get the side ribs there. I can't remember what the heck those are called. So yeah. The thing about the pectorals is if you don't draw them right, if you don't get the right kind of shape, it looks lame. I've seen so many pectorals that just look retarded. They're easy to mess up, and they can easily make or break your drawing. Well, there's a lot of things that can make or break your drawing, but mostly pectorals from a shot like this. But yeah, then we got the neck muscles in there. Thing about neck muscles, of course, depending on what's going on, is you don't want to put too much detail into it, of course, unless they're like screaming or whatnot. Now, this part is a pain in the butt. The friggin' the spider insignia on the chest. I did it wrong. I did it very wrong, because generally it depends on what kind of design you're trying to go for. Sometimes it's like spread all the way across the chest. Sometimes it just goes across it like it's wearing some kind of sweater. Excuse me. I could have done that a lot better. It's kind of like off, but I've never really done that insignia decently. And here's where I'm starting to go into the shading, putting a little bit of emphasis and rendering out some parts. Not as much attention into the shading as the past pictures. Another thing about Venom is he's got a very saliva based mouth. I didn't do that here because with black and white pencil, at least the way I'm doing it here, it's kind of hard. It's kind of tough to do, more or less. Or it's especially if you got, it's not tough to do. Sorry, it's hard to notice if you got a lot going on in the mouth as it is. But yeah, I could have spent more time on putting some more saliva on the tongue, but I didn't want to risk it. I just wanted to get as much done as quickly as possible. Because, like I said, I was taking a lot of time, but I didn't want to take too much time, and I was taking a lot of breaks during this. Generally, again, I think this one turned out better out of the ones that I've done so far. But yeah, at this point, I'm doing a lot of experimenting. But yeah, with the trying to get the shading on the head, I think I give up at some point. But yeah, and get the brow going on there, shading in the throat. Because you got the open mouth, you got to put the throat in there, and a little bit on the lips, making it look like it's all curling back, showing his teeth. And where am I going here? Okay, trying to put more rendering on the arm muscles. Don't think it worked out too well. What do we got going on here? Okay, a little bit more work into the ribs. Putting some shading, breaking through and putting some shading around the insignia, just around the pectorals in general. Trying to put some kind of like hint of rim lighting in there, or backlighting. I think I like the way that turned out. Now I'll admit the shading on the other arm there that you see to the right, your right, that's messed up. Again, I wasn't. That's something I really need to work on, is establishing the light source. It looks like the light source is on the right, but with the shading like that, it's messed up. Again, I could have spent a lot more time on this, but I didn't. Another thing about rim lighting, like I've got going on there, the alternate light source, it can really give something a dimension. Like if you see how it's got that white there along the line there, actually makes it look like it's curved in. If you do it right, that's generally what you want to aim for. The way to do that is just to shade along there and just take the eraser and just kind of like go along the edge, and you'll get a nice little rim lighting. You get the cross hatching in there to make it look like it's fading in, and then it actually gives it a slight dimension. It's a really nice effect. I like it. I experiment with it a lot, and again, it's better if you do it with coloring. It pops out. It pops a lot better. And reaching the end of the sketch, that's pretty much it. I didn't want to go too much into the shading, because then you would lose a lot of the shape. If I was feeling more bold, because Venom's black or blue, depending on how you do the coloring, but is mostly black. I didn't want to do that, because again, I would lose a lot in the actual coloring. But yeah, that's or in the detail. And so that was Venom. If you guys got any questions, just let me know. If you guys want to try it out yourself, just go for it. You know, I encourage people to draw all the time. And if you guys have any requests, let me know in the comments below. I mean, I'll take requests. You just ask me to draw something, you know, I'll draw it. That Joker picture, that was a request. But yeah, and if you guys like what you see, give it a like. You know, you guys want to see more content, you know, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're watching this on VidMe, good for you. You know, give it an upvote, give me a follow. It's awesome. So yeah, stick around, and next video I have planned will be Rogue. So yeah, all right. Well, that's gonna be it for me. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Adios. Recording quality didn't turn out that great. I don't know what happened.